But now we will head over here to our Sounders, and I've got all this excitement with the Storm segment, with the Horston pick, with the draft as a whole. And then you head over to the Sounders, and things were not pretty with the Sounders. So initially they were. The Sounders headed down to Portland for the first Cascadia matchup that the Sounders would play this season. They had the lead to begin things. They took the lead, to begin things. They had the first lead of the match. They took that in the 65th minute with a Raul Ruidiaz score. And then things took a turn. I was actually in the OL Reign press conference when I saw this happening. Goal after goal after goal. It became 4 unanswered goals in the final 30 minutes of the match. The Sounders just collapsed. Our player of the match, midfielder Nico Ladero. Nico, an 8.0 match rating, 5 shots, 76% passing, 3 chances created, 2 tackles, 1, and 14 recoveries on the day. It would have been Raul, but Raul had a 6.9 match rating. I can't give you the most in-depth description of what went on in this match because of the fact that I was in the press conference when this was taking place, when that collapse took place. We'll look at the injury report. Josh Atencio missed that match. He was out. Albert Rusnak was questionable. I don't believe he played in that match, though. I can check that and see if it matters. But and then Christian Roldan did miss this match as he had concussion-like symptoms after taking a hit in the match against St. Louis. This is ugly. I mean, again, I don't want to be dissuaded from one match. I know that there was a certain Sounders account that we keep tabs on that had a lot of not so kind words to mention about things. And I mean, you could do, Rusnak did not feature in this one. Okay. But yeah, I mean, those 4 unanswered is unfortunate, especially doing so against a club like Portland that really hasn't started the year out well. And it's a rivalry match, so you're going to hear about it. We've already got Timber's comments on our stuff already, which I'm not worried about, and I wouldn't necessarily be completely panic mode like some of the outlets that I mentioned. It's obviously a really embarrassing loss. This is really bad. But you see the way that the Sounders have started out the season, I wouldn't really be too worried. The only loss that they had suffered before this was to FC Cincinnati, who started the year off really well, and they came off the one goal late, and the Sounders should have had another goal. I had a goal to, equalize that, but was called back because of a foul in the buildup. I wouldn't really be upset about it. You were out Roldan, you were out Atencio, you were out Rusnak. Hebert is continuing to build back to health and has been in the last few matches. So I wouldn't be worried about it. It's not a nice way to start off Cascadia, not a loss that you ever want to take against Portland, and Seattle certainly has to match the intensity of Portland in these matches. A good stat that was pointed out was that the Sounders had blocked 13 shots before the Raul Ruidiaz goal, and they only blocked 1 after that goal. That just can't happen. So again, there is a lot to take from this going forward. You need to match that intensity from Portland, and you can't let this loss spill out into the other matches that you're going to play moving forward. But again, similar to the ways that, Mariners Twitter can be, I don't want it to be like the end of the world, with this loss to Portland. So we'll move on from it. In team-related notes, on the 12th of April, both Christian Roldan and Jordan Morris were called into the U.S. men's national team for a showdown with Mexico. The duo has been called up for the inaugural All-State Continental Clasico against our rival Mexico on Wednesday, April 19th in Glendale, Arizona. If you want to watch that match, it's at 7 p.m. Pacific time that day on TBS, Telemundo, Universal, HBO Max, and Peacock. Both players earned their first call-up since representing the men's national team at the 2022 FIFA Men's World Cup in Qatar. This showdown with Mexico marks the first edition of this Clasico, a new annual event that features the men's national team of the U.S. hosting a top-tier opponent from North, Central, or South America. Morris has 51 appearances with the U.S. and 11 goals, including 2 appearances during the World Cup against the Wales and the Netherlands. He leads the MLS with 8 goals this season, including a club record 4 against Sporting Kansas City. Roldan has 32 caps for the men's national team, most recently being part of the squad at the World Cup. Roldan has started all 7 of Seattle's MLS regular season appearances prior to this Portland match, scoring a goal in the season opener against Colorado. So nice to see those two get called up again. It'll be interesting to see how much they feature in that match on the 19th, if they do, which is in a few days. But then I don't know how much that'll limit their appearance in this next match. So we'll get to that here. The Sounders sit at a 5-win, 2-loss, 1-draw record. They're 5th in the entirety of the MLS and 3rd in the Western Conference in terms of points. Looking ahead, their next match is April 22nd, back at home versus Minnesota United FC with a 7:30 p.m. start time. As I mentioned, you don't want to let this spill out. Minnesota sits at 6th in the West with 11 points. The Sounders have 16. So depending on what happens with FC Dallas and San Jose, if the Sounders lose, they could drop a few spots. So prefer not to do that. Take care of business against Minnesota. If you follow the Sounders at all, you know that the Sounders have an interesting little head-to-head with Minnesota going on the last few years, where Seattle's gotten the better end of things. So you'd like to see that continue here.